Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, it's inspired by dreams. Shop. That's the place to go to get your drip on and dress outside of the box. Okay, I hear like the police sirens going crazy. It's just one of those Fridays. It's just one of those Fridays. You guys can hear it for yourself. But I got a lot of things to talk about today. We have 10 topics as well as just our normal conversation, going over things that's going on in the news, in our communities, just getting a little bit of cover of everything and just getting a little health check and a little energy check on each other and see how we are doing and how we uplifting ourselves. But man, when I tell you I got a lot to talk to you about, let's just jump right into it.
That blackout drink.
Right, but you had imagine everybody blacked out though. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or that's why J-Lo left the country. He had her sticking bottles and stuff up in my homegirl. She was only 11 years old. She the girl that they put on the private jet. They with the jelly beans. They put on the private jet. They took her to the studio in New York, and then had the nerve to dress her up in a D&G sweater, do her hair, put makeup on her, and take a picture like a trophy. She only 11 years old in that picture, and that's not allegedly. And then the same girl,
J-Lo was messing around with.
man, so many of
Good
them
morning.
names on the net. We talking about Diddy right now. Yeah. And then
Let me
that's the
see if I
same
can
girl
set
that
it
in the
up right
magazine
now.
is laying on the table butt naked with food and stuff off of her. And we all eating off of her. I sucked the strawberry off her. She 14 years old laying on that table. She had a body like a grown woman. You don't think anybody's looking at that thinking that's a kid laying there. You assume that's a grown woman. So
I
he
think
made
you got a wrench. You got
everybody
to
with a
check it out.
minor, against their will.
Okay, so shouts out to Lionel B. If anybody doesn't know and just passed by his channel, really great content creator. I was watching Lionel B. and he had an interview with Adria English, which is one of Diddy's accusers. And man, when I tell you, we got to get into it. We have to get into it. And did you check? I think I gave you the wrench. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's in there. I'm not sure how we can tell, but I just set it up for you. I did not forget you. It was on my mind to give you that wrench. So I really appreciate you. Much love, always supporting your boy. Okay, so this whole Diddy thing, it has my mind going like from so many different ways because one of the things that we're finding out, like in my past live, I told you that I did hear about an incident where Denzel Washington was at one of Diddy's parties, and for some reason, I guess somebody said they seen him arguing with somebody because he seen something, and he began to, leave the party. And now we're finding out more information on what's going on, and let me see. Yes, you do have it. Thank you. We're finding out more information on what's going on as well as who was attending these parties. Now, the incident, just to cover that, the incident with Denzel Washington. So what we're hearing is that there was a girl, well, Diddy had different setups, I guess, in his mansion, and there was a girl in a different section. There was different chicks, were put in different sections. And on one, there was a stage where we had you have to have the females performing and entertaining the crowd. But one of the girls that was on that stage was underage. She was 14 years old. Now, the way Adria, she described it, she did not look 14 years old, but that was her actual age. And she had to use the bathroom. And when she tried to tell Diddy that, I guess Diddy told her, with his narcissistic self, to stay on stage, perform, and keep entertaining these people. So finally, we're only humans. She ended up using the bathroom on the stage, and Diddy pulls her in the back now, and he just goes off on her. And when Denzel seen that, he ran. That's when the altercation, he ran and he started arguing with him, and he said, you know what, you don't have no respect for other women. And he just walked out with his wife, I was hearing. So that's what that led up to that. And in the same party, we also are hearing that the same girl that was 14, she was laying on the table as far as like like an entertainment type of thing where they eat the fruits off of her. And all of those celebrities that were eating fruits off of her, they didn't really know that she was 14 years old, but in this party, that's what was going on. So when we hear the court case and they're saying that, celebrities are paying behind the scenes, because this was one of Diddy's ways of doing his cover up for himself, or having some kind of, what could I say, have some kind of, safeguarding on what his party and the things that was going on. So they all participated. But it's a weird thing to understand. Let me keep going and enter it. So she goes on and on and on, and she also says that Jennifer Lopez put like some jelly beans in somebody's, you know, and she participated in one of, allegedly one of the orgies or whatever was going on. And also in that, Nelly, she allegedly claims that was in there. And she, and before we jump into that, don't jump on Ashanti, because these are things that were 20 years ago, and we don't know who knew what, and we just know, we don't want to break relationships up, but if you was a part of this mess, that's the reason why we say you have to speak up to let people know your side of things and what you knew about it. Maybe you was at these parties seeing things and realizing that the person that was laying there wasn't 14 years old. But in all, that was the age, and it was illegal. So I can see how this case has so many different twists to it. So don't think that, people don't know about the party or the exact party that they attended. Yeah, they know. They know. And now I realize, just on the other side, just let's jump over to Jennifer Lopez real quick with her, I believe it's her ex with Ben. Now, we did hear in the news that Ben had broke up with her and didn't want nothing to do with her, because probably, in the talks, these things were going around, and it probably got to his desk, and he's hearing, or might even seen the videotape, because I'm hearing that Diddy was showing it around to people. So once he's seen that, now, of course, it all depends on the type of man you are, and what you know about the information. Like, if she never told you anything at all, or just covered it up, it's not something that I don't think she would tell everybody she's with. So that kind of affected the relationship, and that's what kind of went down. Now we're starting to realize what kind of man he is, and when you get the detail and seeing how everything played out, you can understand that he masterminded this all. That if you are part of this party, you couldn't tell anybody else. You couldn't because it's incriminated. For the people that knew that what he was doing, there was also 11-year-old in there. So his way of power, his form of power, was to hold something over your head. Now, there's one more person, I have to say allegedly, and this is crazy because their name wasn't put into it, but Lionel B did show a picture. They also said that there was somebody, presidential, and I've seen pictures with Donald Trump and Diddy, but it's also saying that, he could have been a part of these parties, not knowing, or we don't know what was going on. But all we know is that the feds do have these tapes. They do have these pictures. They have this information. And this is what's been going on behind the scenes. So if you guys haven't checked out the Lionel B show with the Accuser, she breaks it down piece by piece. And it just goes to show what a person can do with the power they have, and they misuse it. They usually guide it to the people that's their own people. And that's the sad thing, So, and I don't want you guys to think that this sex trafficking and this type of stuff is something new. This is something that has been going on for years and years and years. And the format that Diddy uses to hold things above his head, as far as taping people and using information on people, this is a format that's a part of this whole sex trafficking, circus thing. You hold things over people's head, people in authority, and you get what you want out of people because you're using, your power and the things that you did to those people against their will. And this is what adds on to this whole Diddy crazy story in this situation. Because not only are we seeing a lot of people coming through and saying their claims, some people are not, saying the right claims, but there are some people where their claims, they have evidence and they have video, and these are the things that's going to go crazy. Now, I also heard, shouts out to Andy Appleseed, his channel. He dropped a video with Lunel on it, and she was saying that, well, now, there's a possibility that Trump could, probably maybe, like, in other words, she was alluding, like, pardon Diddy. But it's kind of like the opposite way. You see, even though, it's not, what we have to understand is those pardons were on you. Every president has to, free somebody. I guess I believe after the term is over or something like that. I'm not too, I'm not too sure on that, but it's something around those realms. And Donald Trump, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to just go and pardon Diddy with all those victims and all that evidence out there. I don't think he wants to dip his toe anywhere near the feds anymore, because the feds are like glue. They stick to you and they wait and they wait and they wait until they catch you. So I don't think that, one has to do with the other. But what I do know is that, when it comes down to just, doing time in these times, people are getting a lot of time depending on what the crimes that they're doing. And people are not understanding this whole thing. People think that, it's just like you get some, if you have a lot of money, you can get away with a lot of things and pay your way out of it. It's not the case. When you see things like Young Thug and, it's not necessarily saying, I see a lot of people saying, oh, he beat it, he beat it. It's not necessarily that. He didn't really beat it, okay? Beating it is after the 14 or 15 or what I think is 25 years he's on probation. That's beating it when that's all over. Life, it's almost like a trick if you don't understand that you have to absolutely change your life in a different direction, because if you make one step that way, you could be facing the same time that they wanted to give you for the rest of your life. So when you say beat it, that's not necessarily beating it. Yes, you came from, the harsh environments in the prisons and you don't have to sit in there, but you still have to do time outside as far as changing yourself. So yeah, in a way, yes, it is a better route of going, but I don't think Diddy will be facing that due to hit the type of crimes that he was doing, as far as like using his power to hurt people and, just silence people and go after people and chase people, things like that. It's almost like he is a threat to the society. So somebody taking him out of prison and putting him back in society, it only says a lot for that person. And I feel like a person of that stature would not even do something so stupid. So that just wipes out the way. When it comes down to just, I'm hearing now, another thing, his son is taking over his Instagram. I don't know, man. Personally, me, that's not an issue that, I just feel like, as far as his son taking over the Instagram, I've heard, even I can't even jump away from this because there was so deep of so many things that Adrian, she said that Diddy, we all know now that that's not Diddy's actual mother, but she, I guess it's something like aunt or something like that. I don't know what it is, that it's just a whole, but she was also saying, and let's be adults about this when I say this. We all know, if you watch porn in your life, if you ever watch porn, there's a lot of sections in porn, okay? Now, for the people that just normal average people, yeah, can't say we're not freaky. There's always once or twice you see something and you're like, wow, this is crazy. Let's just say what she's accusing Diddy allegedly of is being in the family section, if you guys know what that means. So she's allegedly saying that, he's had relationships with everybody, and it's just some weird stuff that's going on. Some things that makes you not open just your eyes, but your ears to understand that sometimes what you think it is, it could be something totally worse or just totally opposite. It's crazy. When I start realizing it's a more a stain on his character than I feel like it's a more stain on his financial or his pockets. Money comes, money goes, but your character stays with you forever, and how people feel and the things that you did to people, that's what stays with people. That's the energy that you just can't, you can't buy away. And people oftentimes they feel like they can do whatever they want the more money you get. But really, you can't do as much as you want the more money you get. That's the reality of it all. The more money you get comes with more responsibility. People never think like, when you get a buy a whole bunch of things or add a whole bunch of new people into your life, you're adding on to this mental health strain or whatever you have problems in your life. Maybe you're addicted to sex, maybe you're addicted to whatever you're addicted to, drugs. That's going to add on to that, and it's going to make it that much harder for you to get out of whatever hole you put yourself in or whatever addiction that you are surrounded by. So I don't even understand why people would just, it's a thing. It's one thing about a person doing something to somebody, feeling wrong for it, and then, trying to change their life around. But when you're talking about a person that's been doing this over 20, 30 something years, it's not really up to us to say whether his character changed or not. It's actually, this has become a lifestyle. For some people within those 20 and 30 years, that's the only person they know. So you have to, it just goes to show you that the level of sickness and wicked stuff that goes on in the industry, that people feel like they have to go through and do these type of things just to get where they got to go. A lot of people won't do it. So it's not just me and these other people that don't agree with this, demonic lifestyle. It's a lot of people that won't go through it. Even if a person is the richest person in the world, just because they're doing wrong doesn't make their money has nothing to do with the wrongs that they're doing. It's not like they made billions and millions of dollars of doing wrong. No, that came from something else. Their character exposed who they are in real life in real time. And that's the reason why I had to bring that to you guys. So shouts out to Lionel B, man. That is one of the biggest interviews right now on YouTube. And I'm pretty sure people are really listening to that. Especially when she apologized to Ashanti. And that was deep too, because a lot of times, just because you think you know somebody don't mean you know somebody, You got to be very, very careful. And I feel like I'm not just saying that Nelly is just this person, because it's all allegedly. I can't just say that. But what I could say, in those times and with those types of parties, pulling other celebrities in and celebrities participating in something, it just gives you a wake-up call for the new celebrities and the youngins coming up. The more people that you have in your establishments, you have to be more responsible. If one of your friends is doing something with a female in the back and something goes out of whack, it all falls on you. If that's your property, if that's your establishment, you got to have a little more control around the people around you and some control over yourself. A lot of these people, with all this over-sexualization, don't think that people are not becoming sex addicts. It sounds crazy, but trust me. When people see things that they can't have, it's not just Diddy, it's a whole millions of people. When they see things they can't have, they'll do anything to get it. And sometimes it means doing something criminal or something that they wouldn't even expect, you wouldn't expect them to do. So, there's a lot of names that have been mentioned. That's just, it's sad. It's sad that, you see people, and I hate when it's almost like anybody that's trying to get into or work or do something for somebody and somebody take advantage of them and they don't really have a clue of what's going on. It's almost like it became almost like the way and the thing to do, because we hear so many execs using this same format, this same blueprint of getting what they want out of people. And I don't like it at all. It almost took entertainment, and it makes people look at entertainers and celebrities way different. Because it's the important things that count before you get to the things that you want us to buy from you or support you with. No, we want to see the type of person you actually are inside. Are you standing up for these conversations? Are you standing up for these issues? Or are you just smiling and tucking yourself in the back and acting like you never seen it happen? And that displays the character and the type of celebrity or the type of artist that I want to sink my money into or spend my time watching. Because if I see a person that can't even stand up for themselves, what makes you think I want to stand behind that person? No. I need people to invest in my time and my energy to people that's going to stand up for what's right. Whether you have to stand and be alone with it, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have one or two people that's going to stand on that line with you. And that's how I feel about everything I do, is even the content. Like, if I feel some way about it, it doesn't matter who doesn't have an opinion. We're not all going to have the same opinions, but I'm going to let you know how I feel. That's just that. Another thing, did you guys hear Mark Wahlberg? Mark Wahlberg, he opened up a Mexican restaurant and it got burnt down. Marky Mark. Mark Wahlberg, he's a good dude, but there's sometimes people just don't understand. You can't just jump into somebody's culture and just try to make money off of it. Whether you put Mexicans in the store and work for you, you can't just do that. I don't know if he has any Mexican, as the people, and you want the people to come to your store. Have a story. Have your story in place before you think about just opening up a Mexican restaurant, because people are going to feel some type of way. The Mexican culture has already, up to this point, they haven't been treated well in America, and not everybody feels compensated in America. It's not just black people. There's a lot of people in different cultures that people have just bought into their culture and they exploited it and just took it and just ran with it for the money. So you have to show respect. When you're doing anything in anybody else's culture, it's just like going to anybody else's neighborhoods or going to anybody else's place. You have to show some respect. Have more of those, have more Mexicans and more people involved. Have a rollout, just like you do for your movies. Have a rollout and let people know where your heart's at. Because if you just pop up and open up a Mexican restaurant and it happen to get burned down, well, I don't know what's happening. There's nothing to see here. Because I don't like when people just look at somebody else's culture and just take whatever they want out of it and just try to exploit it and make money off of it. Does that sound right to you? It's not right. It's not right. I see it all the time. It's not right. Don't do things like that. Come on now. Come on, Mark. You should know better than that. You're a wealthy person. I don't understand how rich people can do these type of things. You have so much money you made in movies. You made so much money along, and nobody's knocking the money you made. You're a millionaire. Why would you do that and exploit somebody's culture? Because that's what it looks like. You opening up a Mexican restaurant. Whether you like Mexican food or not, it doesn't give you enough foot in the culture to just say and open up something. No, you could. I love pizza, but I'm not just gonna run and open up a pizza restaurant unless I know connect myself with some Italians that can tell me some recipes and work with their culture, and they have a better understanding of the reason why I'm trying to bring their culture or wherever I want to place it. People don't even know what to do. They just out here running and exploiting and taking this and taking that. And by the time they finish and they think they're at the end of it, it's either they get trademark, copyright, or somebody do something crazy like this and burn down their place. And they don't know what happened. Oh, but I love Mexican food. It doesn't matter you love Mexican food. I have Mexican friends. And that it sounds to me like you're exploiting the culture, especially a time when people's cultures mean so much to them. We're in a melting pot, so we're all trying to bring our cultures to other people so we can blend and have these conversations of our similarities. But here he come, and it's not a bad thing that you made it to a certain status, but you have to really respect other people's culture. Even if you want to open up a Mexican restaurant, let us know the story. Let not just us, the Mexican culture and everybody, the Mexicans, that let them have an understanding of what you're trying to do. Don't just open up something just because you have money in somebody's neighborhood and just pile up a bunch of bricks and think you're going to help. You ain't helping nobody. Don't you know in everybody's community, they can only adapt and communicate with the people in the community living it. Everybody that's standing from the outside, they can't tell you how to live in your community. So you have to watch out for people just jumping and trying to gentrify and do all this gentrification, all that stuff. It says pushing people out of their neighborhoods instead of teaching them how to build up the value in the places that they once owned. Why you have to push somebody out of their neighborhood? Why can't you build it up around it and teach them how to maintain it? Instead of saying you have to pay for this, pay for that, pay for this. People get sick and tired of that, man. So you have, these are the type of things that people, they swear they don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it in front of our faces. They're doing it in front of our faces. And not yet you see me mention anything about his race or anything, because I like Mark. I'm not that type of dude to just slap race on everything. Everything is not just about race. Sometimes it has to do with how people look at you, the money that you're using, and the places and the areas that you're using that money. Sometimes it's all about respecting the people around you, respecting the people that's around doing the same things as you or might try to be building their business. A lot of people don't understand. Up to this point, us as a black culture don't understand. It doesn't matter how many of us do fashion brands. If we keep hurting each other, we'll have no trust in each other to even have any of these brands hit the top. Because we're never going to look at our own people and say, you know what, instead of that Louis, instead of that Gucci, let me get that. No. For us to get our minds, it would have to be like Virgil mixing that Louis with the Gucci or working for them and then be like, oh yeah, let's do it. No, why does he have to go that far for us to support that much? Rest in peace, Virgil. It's sad out here. We have to check ourselves and how we take stuff in and how we look at stuff. Because when you really think about the problem, usually the problem comes from within us. It's not about, we can't keep pointing the finger without having a solution behind it. I can't go for that. I just can't go for that. I'm hearing now, this is allegedly Kanye West in his school, I guess he was stopping people from using Martin Luther King, I guess what it is, books and things like that. Well, that doesn't surprise me. I already told you about Kanye West. He's so far lost within the black culture that he's trying to find himself and his placement in the white culture. What did I tell you guys? Meanwhile, it's almost like a bear around a dozen dogs. All the dogs know you're a bear. Now the bear might feel comfortable. The bear might feel like, yeah, these the only people. The only dogs I ever seen in my life. But the dogs know that that's just a bear. That's a bear, and they're not the same because it's just different. And people don't get it, man. People they sit there and they act like they don't get it. Man. Did you guys and I'm seeing you guys are watching the reactions to the Donald Trump election. People are like losing they're losing their minds, you guys. They are losing their minds because of an outcome. And this is what I told people. If you put yourself and get yourself all buried into what other people's value or think that you are or what the place is supposed to be, if that doesn't happen to work out, you're gonna feel that same pain with them. Look, there's winners, there's losers, and sometimes everybody wins, sometimes everybody loses. I look at this situation like we haven't yet to see what is going to be put forth or what's going to go down. So we just have to have some kind of faith in what we do in ourselves and the things that we got going to get ourselves ahead. We have to concentrate on that. We got to do that before the election and after it. Come on now. I mean, I understand some people's cries, and I'm not just, like, looking past it, but at the same time, I'm also understanding that, what we do is more important of seeing some kind of change. It's going to start with us. It's not going to start with anybody else telling us what to do. It's just not going to go that way. It's just not going to go that way. So Tekashi's going to be out in 30 days. You see that? I'm just hoping that he takes that and just quit all of the other stuff. Put your culture more into your music. Stop going to all these foreign places and trying to find a new identity, because you have an identity right here, out here. So work on that. You can't just wipe that identity away and just try to turn into another person until you have some kind of understanding is who that person you left back. Once you correct the things that you did wrong, whether it was being around the wrong people, performing a certain way for the camera and acting one way and your energy is off, you got to fix all of that stuff. You're young, you have so much time to get your life together. These guys that's going to prison for all these time, like Diddy and these guys, they ain't got no time to fix this. It ain't no time for that. It ain't no time for that. I'm talking what you guys as youth look at as like the 20 in the life, that's only like 5-10 years for some of these guys. Conditions that's being put upon people that's in prison is detrimental to their health, is detrimental to their mindset. Once all of that's broken, no matter if you come out the jail with your eyes open and your legs still working, it doesn't mean anything. You're not going anywhere. You're still going to be trapped. Don't you know how many people go to prison and leave prison and still locked up in their mind? They still in prison. And they free, but they still in prison. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, you guys. Whack 100 said some. Shouts out to Whack 100 out there on the west side. Whack 100, he said something that made me think, and I didn't take it in a disrespectful way. A lot of people on the internet, because they are so bought into these celebrities and the way they want to look at them, they're so bought into that they can't see no other way. But Whack 100 had mentioned that, Tupac was a studio gangster. And as much as people put a negative term above studio gangster, he was actually right. Tupac wasn't really a gangster, but he found his place in a place where the gangsters grew up. And the love that he had for the people that he encountered made people bring him in and take him in as family. I think people get that confused in the whole Tupac story as far as the Tupac journey. See, Tupac was a person of love. It doesn't matter. See, if you lead with love, it doesn't matter if the person's a killer. It doesn't matter if the person's an angel, a demon. Your presence is always going to be felt. And you're going to have demons that fear that, because when you're a good person, the demons, they can't take that energy around them. And then you're gonna have like the other people that you influence, like the people that Tupac came around, and they really took him in as family. But a lot of people look because he was so poetic, his words were so strong, what he stood for, and he also took the street route of telling his story. So within that, a person could get lost in thinking that Tupac was this gangster. But Tupac wasn't a gangster, y'all. He was now a street person and a gangster is two completely different things. Now he did some gangster-ish stuff, but it doesn't necessarily make him a gangster. You see, the whole thing that people miss out on Tupac was actually from the East Coast. But just because his family, he was a move around type. You know, not everybody has the opportunity to stay in a place where you grew up and watch your family grow. Sometimes families go through certain things where they got to move their kids around, and you know, you're picking up everything you go and moving around, but you're also taking little things with you. And from where he started, I believe Tupac, you guys could correct me, I believe it was Delaware he was from, or somewhere in that area where he went to school with Jada Pinkett. And what he took from that was his acting skills. Those acting skills made himself welcoming to the real life situations that he encountered in his future time. So when he went to the West Coast, what he took with him, he added with them. So that's why you see, like, that's why people appreciate you and love you. Like, if you go, say, like, you hear a lot of people get killed out in the West Coast and they gangbang, it's because people don't respect the turf. If you go out there with love, there should be no reason why somebody would want to put a gun to your head or tell you this or tell you that. They understand too. It's not like looking at them like they're dummies and don't know when they see you wearing this color, they shoot you down. Yeah, there was a time when that was present and that was happening. But at the same point, as we grow as black culture and as we grow as just people, we start to realize, no, a lot of these people that's going into these areas are violating these people. They're either doing things that, you know, that goes against what those people believe in, or doing things that, you know, might make those people look a certain way to the public. And that's what people, it's the level of respect. If you don't know how to conduct yourself in the streets, it's just like walking into somebody's home. You go there just because you have things, rules in your head that you might abide by. When you go in somebody else's spot or somebody else's state, you have to abide by the things that they live by. You got to show some respect. The respect is broken because social media makes it feel like we all live in the same place and we all do the same things. If you're in a land and you have guns and you could walk with guns, you have a different type of protection on yourself. Now, if you're in New York, you can't have a gun on you. Our gun laws are really messed up. We have to protect ourselves in so many other different ways. Now, you might hear a lot of shootings and things like that, but that comes with that. All that does is it just put it like this: if you're in a problem in New York and and it has to come down to guns, you already know the type of time you possibly could be facing. So whatever you're getting yourself into, it has to be that much worth it for you to go out there. That's the difference. It's not saying that guns are not out here and things like that. Guns are everywhere around the world. But it's how you choose to take those guns out there. Are you defending yourself, or are you just going out there and you hurting people? And what we're seeing now in these times, people are not only, yeah, they have a beef with so-and-so down the block or this guy down here, but when they go shooting at him, they're hitting this little girl or they're hitting this old lady or hitting this older guy, and they're bringing people into their situations, is messing up the communities. And this is what drew people to, and the higher authorities to say, you know, let's put a RICO on them. And this is what's been going on in the NYC. So people look at it like, see, we all have issues that we need to be solved, whether it's reparations, whether it's student loans, health issues, whatever. We all have that, but it's a borderline on what's more important for the majority, and then it goes down and down, and everything tries to get covered. 9 out of 10 times, not everything even gets touched, but us as the people in these times, we have to start putting our foot first, and then letting people know what's important to us. And the more people that feel the same way, that's how you build up that momentum of getting things solved. That's just how things go. Another thing I had to bring to you guys. Hold on, I don't want you guys to forget here. Okay, Russell Simmons. Since we're on the sex trafficking and all this, you know, the dip that remember they say, you know, just dip and run from it all. It's not that easy, you guys. We're living in a place where you dip and people will dip with you and bring you back to here, you know? Russ is facing behind the scenes. Russ is going through some serious issues as far as, you know, taking advantage of people. and this and that. Now I can only say allegedly because it's not, the information that they have on him is not as clear, it's not as substantial as Diddy's. So I can't compare the two, even though they're in the same classroom, in other words, you know? But I'm waiting to see how that goes. It's just a shame that that was a, you know, we have, now what we're seeing is that was a part of the hip hop lifestyle, that overpowering people, whatever you was into. And we know with our culture, it could be very sexual. And a lot of these guys were at an older age and they have this thing for the younger people coming up. It's disgusting. And I don't know. I can't say that as human beings, we're not sexual people, but when you start doing underage stuff and things like that, you can have that party, you know, that's not the type of thing that we into. There's so many beautiful queens that older and have a better mindset, and you can, you know, you can do and fulfill whatever you want to do with the right female, as long as you get the right one. But these guys like to take and from people that, you know, that the things that they can't buy, and they want to take that and take power of it. So that's how they end up in these places. And that's how that goes. I don't know. His sons, to me, it don't feel like his sons are taking this in a way where, a serious way. It feels like they still have them thoughts like, nah, he's gonna get out. He's gonna beat this one. Trust me, man. You know, we always say that. We always think that, oh, it's just one more, you know, and we don't realize that just one more was the last one that God tried to show you, and you didn't even pick up on these signs to turn your life around. And now when it hits you in the face, you feel like the world is on top of your shoulder. No, the world was on top of your shoulder when you missed the first signs, when God was telling you, no, this ain't the right way of going about it. You can't get mad at any victims. You can't get mad at content creators. We are just people. We are just seeing what's going on. We didn't participate in it with you guys. This is more of a shock to us than it is to you guys, because these are the things that you guys were covering up. Don't get mad at us. Don't get mad at us. Don't do it. It ain't going to work. It's not going to work. Use your money over there to do something to help the communities you came from, instead of chasing down content creators because they have some kind of solutions, or don't like the things that you're doing behind the scenes that really makes you who you are. Don't get mad at us and try to say, oh, you suing content creators, you suing this, that. Take your damn money with all that millions of dollars you got and put some buildings in your damn neighborhood, instead of running out there and digging in your pockets to sue your own people. Don't let me ever hear you say you're going to sue somebody that's trying to call you out for the wrongs you did. Some of these people got some nerve. And they think, we're gonna take all the money you got. Or they ain't got no money. It's the same things that you're saying is belittling people. It's belittling the people that got you the money, that made you build up with all this stupid, ignorant arrogance. So you got to watch out for these people, because their arrogance is not adding up to the love that they have and the people that really know them. You know how many wives right now, and looking at their husbands, knowing that they was at that party doing that nonsense. You know how they know? Because they did the same nonsense to them. So when you see a lot of things right now, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that can't believe what their partner did. Meanwhile, you and your partner, y'all doing good in your love, and you looking at these people and thinking that their life is better than yours. How their life could be better than yours when you got real love and they got artificial love? You tell me about it. There's no amount of money that can pay for real love. That's something you have to build and earn within somebody else. They can't even sit with people to tell them the actual truth about their life. They got people writing their stories, writing their music, and you expect those same people to turn around now and do something right for the person that was hurting the same people that supported him? Come on now. We got to do better than that, and we got to know that their silence says a whole lot about them. We not silent. Be the ones trying to understand what's going on. But their silence, it says a lot. Pay attention. Pay attention, you guys.
15 minutes of fame.
Shouts out to 15 Minutes of Fame. Just clicked on, but that's just a channel to give them a shout, 15 or more. And talking about 15 Minutes of Fame, can we really see I'm not jumping into battle rap too much today, but can we really see some kind of structure in battle rap where the people that really doesn't know about the culture as much as hip hop, can you have some place on YouTube where you can inform people more about the battle rap structure, how things are supposed to be? Get some better editors where we can see some more battle, some of the people coming up. It doesn't always necessarily have to be the big rap names, because those guys you have to pay-per-view for. But the guys that want to join the culture and coming up, give them a chance to get their videos on YouTube and show their skills so you can have the culture really building. Stop concentrating on how much money he's getting, how much sponsors we have. Start concentrating more on the culture. We need to rebuild on the battle rap culture, and I just wanted to add that to it. So you're gonna have to find some kind of structures, or every battle rapper is gonna have their own league with no people to battle. So come on. We gotta strengthen up and don't always think money first. Sometimes the money could be the ending part. That's the surprise that makes it all worth it for some people. But the real part about it is the people that make it all worth it, that come to your establishments and support you as, a brand owner or your whatever establishment you may have. I just want to add that in, being that 15-minute thing just popped up. I have my TV behind me, so when it goes on top of the video, it gives a little shout. And the video is for Rum Nitty. Shouts out to Rum Nitty. Shouts out to Murder Mook. That's a new video I got to watch when I get off of here. But it's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Hold on. It's just so many things this Friday, you guys. It's just, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. Oh. I didn't really want to touch on the whole Diddy thing with his baby mom, because they're new parents. They just got to learn how to figure it out and work things out a little better. And they being that I believe with any new parents coming up, being if you have enough where both you guys have money, I feel like once you knock out the financial part, that gives you enough time to start concentrating on the things at the early stages that's going to be detrimental to your kid's life. So the more social media you add into your kid's life, it's not really going to benefit. The more you guys add you into that kid's life, because you guys are top on social media, is a kid is going to have a chance to experience new things as they go. And at a young age, even though it's all up to the parents, I would say, the social media it could be dangerous. Social media could put a light on somebody's wrongs and not their rights, and that can become the outlook of that person. So you got to be very careful. I wouldn't really at this stage. I would be mostly, behind the scenes, newborns and things like that, So that's all I got to say about that. I didn't really want to go too much into, because I'm not really into people. If you got a relationship that's working for yourself, it ain't really too much for me to, I'm not here to separate people. So, I just, if there's some things going wrong, I don't feel, just this whole social media, adding that whole thing in there, it could get tricky. But hey, they did well for themselves on social media, so they should have some kind of responsibility and know, the wrongs and the rights to do. So we'll leave that up to them. It's always it's a new experience for new parents. New parents should get a little love too. As long as you got the love for your baby or your babies, you guys should it's a learning experience. I feel like, you don't want everybody jumping in. You want to make some mistakes, and as long as they're not crazy mistakes, you want to make some mistakes and learn from them, so you can raise your kids and know how to raise your kids. If you're going to have another kid, you'll know how to raise the other one, and it keeps going and going as far as you learning. That's something you never stop doing. I always tell you guys that. So, yeah. You see what y'all talking about. Yep. Happy Friday. You already know. You already know. Do I look like Lil Wayne? Biggie is the best. Dre is real. You say Dr. Dre's a real gangster? I don't think so. I think Dr. Dre is a real producer with gangsters around him. Yeah, Biggie is the best. He is. Biggie it's how he made. It's always about how you made the people feel. And when it comes to artists connecting with their, it doesn't, a lot of people you can have 30 albums that don't connect with people, but just sound good, and those 30 albums won't be remembered like 2 albums a person had that connected with the people. So how you connect with the people and your truth resonate with more people than your lies. Lies, a lot of people tell them, and it gets put into a box of lies, and that's just a pattern for those people. But your truths is what separates you from those people. That's usually what that's all about. So that's why Biggie resonates up to this day. His music still sounds good on the air, coming across the New York airwaves. It feels good, and that's why we separate the two as far as like Biggie and Diddy, because there wasn't really, Diddy was supposed to be the producer. He's the guy that, gave Biggie like the different sound and that radio sound, and so that right there is something that Biggie took with him, and he just upgraded himself, and he became who he was. But as far as putting them in the same, no, they're not really in the same. One is a producer and an executive producer, and one is an artist, so a storyteller. So two different, completely different things. Completely different things, man. Completely different. Let me see what else. Oh, hold on. As for, what I've seen too, some movie trailers. There's a couple of movies that I do want to check out. I wanted to show y'all this. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Oh yeah, that's right. You know what I wanted to bring to you guys? Remember I was telling you guys about how, you heard the story about how Buckshot Shorty. Let me just bring it back from the beginning. So from what I heard on my last live in the video I had posted before. Now Buckshot Shorty, he's a legendary hip hop artist from back in the day, really, really dope, and who got the props? Anyway, Buckshot, we recently seen that Buckshot was on the floor, beaten bad and bloody, and he was just on the floor. They beat him down, man. They beat him so bad. And just looking at that, it just covered not only in these times where people don't want to help people, because in the back you had this guy orchestrating, talking about, he said something about some nuggets, some really crazy stuff, while the guy was on the floor bleeding, which led us all to think, oh, he was probably a part of this problem going against him. That's why he probably wasn't helping him. And we heard that Buckshot Shorty, he was ended up in the hospital, and then he also, when he left the hospital, he did talk back to his fans, and we got the chance to hear, his side of it. And the way he explained was, he owned the property, and he was having problems with getting these people out of the property. One mistake that he definitely made, you're supposed to maybe you should have called authority with you to get these people out, because it's not going to be that easy just taking somebody out of a place that you own and just throwing them on the street with them not knowing where to go. There's going to be some kind of friction. And when I thought that was it, I gotta keep it all the way real here, and right is right and wrong is wrong. A new video released. I seen it yesterday, and in the video you see Buckshot standing on the sidewalk in Brooklyn, and he has a phone in his hand, and it's like he's looking into his phone or maybe talking to somebody in his phone. And all of a sudden there's somebody walking, and they're screaming out, "You're a snitch, you're a snitch, you're a snitch," this and that. And Buckshot starts to approach the guy, and they get into this back and forth. Now, let's rewind it back to starting where the guy was telling him, Buckshot, he was a snitch. Now, I'm guessing that he was saying that he was a snitch because Buckshot was probably trying to call authority on the phone or the police, and that guy I don't know who he was trying to call, but that guy thought that most likely the guy that was saying that was coming from the house that he was trying to get him out of. And he was saying that he was most likely saying snitch because you're calling the authorities to get us out the house. That is ignorant. So that just goes to show you that he feels like a snitch is a person just because he can't deal with all of the people you got in the house, and you calling authority to get the. So the mentality that the person that's filming, he's one of these ignorant street guys that feel like when you call somebody a snitch, that's supposed to be like everybody's supposed to go behind that. You ain't supposed to go to police for nothing, and you're supposed to handle it yourself, and you're supposed to run in there and lose your life over these ignorant decisions. So now you see him calling Buckshot Shorty, you're a snitch, you're a snitch. And Buckshot, I'm very upset at Buckshot, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm upset at Buckshot for the fact that Buckshot starts walking towards him, and he look. This is New York City. If you don't know the streets out here, this is something you can't do. Pump fake. You can't act like you got something on you because number one, even in the neighborhoods where you would have got killed, smoke from just that, just reaching like you got something. Don't let nobody act like don't, and you ain't got nothing. Don't think that's gonna work in these times. People, you have to like, if you have something, you gotta show it like ID. This is New York. This is not, we're not dealing with like you that's one thing I didn't understand what he did. And he starts going at, so the guy starts like walking and Buckshot starts going at him now. Starts talking back with him. And this is the problem, you guys. This is the problem. Buckshot don't realize, and much respect. I don't even want to, because I have much respect for him. But it's just some things that he did wrong that he could have got out of this situation. The first thing is you're supposed to have somebody of an authority or somebody maybe somebody to back you up. You can't just try to pull somebody out of the house, even if you own it. I'm not saying what they did was right to you, but I'm also saying that what you was doing, you went about it the wrong way. You got to have better, clear communication. If you coming down there to pull somebody out the cribbo, you got to come with the right people. You got to have people parked up here, the block, down the block. You got to have it all so you know that if you have them in a square, if anything goes on in this point, it's a lock-in. They ain't getting out no way. But you can't go about it when you know you're not like that. So even if you don't know somebody like that, there's a lot of people. It's New York. There's people you can talk to get situations done, but you have to go about things the right way. So he starts going back and forth, and then it cuts, and now it cuts into the part because the person that's taping probably don't want to incriminate himself, but he doesn't even understand that he's gonna get locked up too because there's cameras all over the place. He's thinking that he's the only one taping on the phone, but people have cameras, other people can see. We see that he was beat on the floor, the guy talking. The people that own the property, the people that probably beat him up was probably from in there most likely. There's nobody else gonna walk around and just beat up somebody for no reason. So the people that's in the ownership of that property, I don't know if they were immigrants and they don't have papers or this, whatever, then they could get away with it. But if they have any paperwork with their names or anything like, those guys are gonna get locked up. They put him in the hospital, and at an age like that, everybody can't think that they're the toughest person. There's many ways to skin a cat. This is what we got to understand that. Everything is not just a fist fight. Don't let these fools tell you, oh, he's a sucker because he don't fight. No, maybe he fight in a different way. You're not allowed to tell somebody how to defend themselves. It's something people just don't talk about. It's just, that's how it goes. You don't let anybody, whether they're 10 feet tall or 3 feet tall, disrespect you. You got to know how to handle your situations and handle them the right way. And it's sad that you got beat up like that, but there's a lot of mistakes that you made in that confrontation from what I've seen. And I can't just knock you for the whole thing because as far as I know, a whole bunch of dudes jumped on him. It don't look like that's just a person that just one beat down. It looked like that's a few people that beat him down. So if that's the case, then those guys are wrong for that too. I mean, if you're going to shoot a one-on-one with him, shoot the one-on-one with him. Have some respect for that man. You know who he was. Because you're over there taking pictures of him and you got that is just like the Nipsey Hussle footage. It's almost to the point of disrespect, but at the same point of it, now you hear back, there's a whole lot other story behind it. It's like damn near ridiculous. Because people they don't know how to go about certain situations. Number one, if you come in and get somebody, you have some own let me tell you something, with this real estate stuff, it's not for everybody. If you're not the type of person that you can put authority, renting a place, no, just sell them the property. If you're doing all this renting and you got to be in contact with people on a day-to-day basis and you having problems going on and don't know how to solve them, then you're going to find yourself in some problems because other people have problems too. They're not just not wanting to leave the place because they don't want to leave the place because they don't have money. And right now in New York, everything is expensive. So now you're putting them in a bigger hole and everything's crazy. All that real estate stuff, I'm not into that. So, I don't really get too deep into that real estate stuff because it's not for everybody. But I just see, it's sad the way it went down and I wish him healing energy and at that age, it takes a little longer to heal and things like that, to get your mind right. And there's so many other things to do. If I was you, I would sell that property Okay? Get the people out of there with the authorities. Number one, I don't care if they don't like police or whatever. They're going to see police the day when you come there to get them out. Get them out, get them going, and then sell that property. Take your losses, whatever you got to do. Take the money and put it into something that's more beneficial to you. Don't have to go out there and meet up with these people. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It just ain't worth it. Let me see. But yeah, man, there's gonna be a lot of celebrities quiet, and I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Be straight up with people, and then people will want to invest into your products and this and that. Don't be the person that just throwing your products in people's face and you like a robot just selling people things. Because after a while, the fans gonna disconnect with you. You don't know that? Of course they are. All this wicked stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, it seems like it's overflowing. It's come to a point where names are being called and people are being mentioned and jobs are being lost, people are resigning and other people are running for, a lot of things is going on right now, and all of this stuff is making the good music so harder and harder and harder to find. We can't find ourselves in something new if we keep repeating the same nonsense that people have been trying to dish upon us, man. We can't do that. A lot of these guys that think, oh, I'm going to go sell this, sell that. You ain't selling nothing if your peoples ain't got no trust in you. Homeboy, slow down and all that. Being an entrepreneur, if nobody ain't got no trust in you and they ain't going to build in your business, you ain't going to get no money. Don't let nobody fool you. Cool out with that. We got to find unity within ourselves to build some kind of structure so we can have value in ourselves. It don't matter what you selling. You could be selling soap. Ain't nobody going to buy from you if they don't trust in you. See, that's the problem with people. They see it from this angle of, it's all trust. That's what it's all about. We've seen our own people in these positions and they did wrong to us. That's why people are more comfortable of spending their dollar with certain, you see, let me just break something down. And I know a lot of people ain't going to say this, but I'm just going to break something down and I'm going to tell you from the heart how I feel. When our people down, the reason why they'll spend their last dollar with another culture is because we already expect to be hurt from that other culture. So that hurt is different. It's only a shock when the people from our culture hurt our own people. That's when the shocker comes in. That's when it hurts most. But we are used to being hurt from other people and people taking from us. So we're more used to that. It's not like we're hating on our own. No, we're more used to that. We expected that. Like how Chris Rock said, he always keeps his luggage and everything by the front of his mansion door. It's kind of like the same thing. Like, is this my house or is it or isn't it? I don't know. And it's kind of like that energy. Yeah, they always try to rob from us, our culture, and sell us stuff overpriced and have us coming back. But why'd you do it? You from our culture. You know what we go through. We work hard for the little we get. Why would you do that to your own people? I never understood that, man. I never understood that. Even with my fashion, and I'm looking at our own people, and I could call names, I ain't scared of nobody. Pharrell, why'd your clothes so expensive to your own people? The people that really bought his clothes, like he presented himself like a skateboarder, and those skateboarders don't spend that much money on that. What kind of skateboarder are you talking about? The skateboarders in the suburbs? Because the prices on the price tags on these things are so high, and we don't have to be like other people and overcharge people. The reason why we rarely get overcharged because they don't want you wearing the stuff. Don't you get it? It's not because it's any better than the top that you made. It's just that they don't really want you wearing it. And if you're gonna wear it, they want you to spend this much for it. But you see it as like, oh, when I get this, I'm here. You're not anywhere. You're not anywhere. You're in the same pattern and the same look as all other people that thought in that stupidity. And that's how we reach here today. That's how we got to this point. Because we don't have, once the trust is broken, these conversations can only live within the people that understand them. The people that's looking on and looking over, they're going to figure it out to whatever they want it to be. What are we going to do? We got to start thinking more for ourselves and building up and having trust in particular people in the culture that really want to see it grow. Not the people that want to see their pockets grow. Us as black people, we all in the same boat. We never realized how much good we did with the money. Our biggest billionaires, our biggest millionaires, what do we, I mean, we the ones that tell people, you know, this is how we would do it. So when people get it, they turn around and use the same blueprint as the people that use it against us? Why do they do that? These are the questions that I don't understand. And that's the reason why artists like Tupac will always resonate way bigger than a lot of these artists. Yeah, he might not be the most lyrical or the most flow or spoke about the most money, but his message resonated with more people around the world than somebody just telling you how much you ain't got or how much bigger their house is. You know, none of that stuff really. When you think of Tupac, you don't really think of jewelry or money. You think about message and the moments that he spent with the people that you liked. So why would you look at these artists and think that they could even be in that stature when that's a man that stood for something? Yeah, his death was crazy, and it went down in a way because he was around the wrong people and happened to get caught up in that type. But at the end of the day, the message lived longer than a lot of these people's careers will ever live. Yeah, you might think, you know, your favorite artist that is the best club song or has the most money is the best artist. But in people's hearts, if there was a real vote and it wasn't no funny stuff like these Grammys or these funny awards, we'll really see who the best artists are. It's the ones that resonated with people and their stories were clear enough that people understood and respected that. A lot of these people, it's not, that's why I always tell you, they'll on and on and on again, they'll tell you, you know what, it's the money, I got to get the money. But when they get the money, look what they do with it. It's either they hurt their own people or they take the money and then they give it back. So you have to wisen up and start realizing that the stuff that you're getting, they know what you're going to do. It's a cycle. Just because somebody pull you out of jail don't mean that you ain't going to get in trouble and put yourself back in the same position. It was a trick all in front of your face. It's, man, that, you know, it's not about just being the biggest hustler and hustling everything you can get your hands on anymore. That's not what it's about. Because even when you get the money, you really can't feed the people because you say you're feeding your family, right? So but now you're feeding your family what? You contaminated food. You're feeding your family obesity. You're feeding your family wrong information, and you're feeding your family money is over everything. That's what you're feeding your family. You ain't take that and bring new books or a new family structure. We're not taking them. We're not seeing that in these cases. We're seeing that your kids are doing the same mistakes as you. Your kids want to do the same mistakes and they want to go back to, they don't want to start their stories off in the mansions that you brought and you built for them. They want to start their stories off in the struggle back in where you struggle at. Because that's more, they know that's more sellable to them. They don't have their minds right. It's because you didn't break it down to them and let them know that they're coming from the places where you're in an executive position. You see them other kids out there, they don't have to run and chase to be a rapper because they already have the executive position. They're going to be the person that the rapper runs to get their music out of there. Nobody ever thinks of those spots. They don't. In hip hop, it was a lot, you know, and there's a lot of people putting their name on things that they don't know how to do. A lot of people do that. You'll be surprised how many people are not who they say they are. Taking people's money and putting their name on top of things. Like I told you, Diddy's producer, how much of a producer? He's not like a producer like a Jay Dilla. What type of producer they talking about? A DJ producer? Come on now. People like to put their names on top and take people credits for things and they don't even know how to make it. A lot of these people are fake and phony. Don't let these people fool you. It's always jokes, but once you get past the jokes, you see the real person, man, they hollow to the point they're invisible. You see right through them. It's sad, man. You gotta watch out for these people. I got a lot of new things coming as far as like videos this week and things like that. Maybe this weekend I'm gonna drop off because I have a lot of things on my mind I want to bring to the table. And for me to transfer it into video, sometimes it's a little feat, but I got something for you guys. I appreciate you guys. Don't be fooled by these people putting this fake energy, because remember, that energy is contagious. They use that energy to take from people. We use our energy to uplift people. Don't let them people fool you. Don't let them fool you. They're rushing to get so many people to believe this fake stuff that they pushing it in on social media. And after a while, people gonna get fed up with that nonsense. Fed up with the lies, fed up with the deceit. All that stuff, deceiving people, all that stuff, they can't even find themselves in good relationships to keep it together. Because people are always gonna be in the middle letting them know who they really are. And yes, we believe it. You don't have to open your mouth for people to carry on the story and the hurts and the wrongs you did to them. That travels with people in their hearts. Once you hurt somebody in here, that would never go away. So they can sell their books, they can sell their podcasts, they can do as much selling, sell. But you can't sell yourself out and buy yourself out of that grave or the hurt that you did to those people. Welcome to 2025, where people, all the victims, will stand and rise up above the people and the criminals out there in the streets that's trying to harm us. I love you guys, and stay tuned for the weekend. I might drop a live for you guys. Love you for tuning in. Love you guys for just paying attention and trying to take something from my live that you can take on into your week, man. Make sure you guys don't work too hard today. Make sure you go out there and love yourself. Get yourself a nice little milkshake or a drink or a smoothie or something like that. Enjoy yourself. Put a smile on your face. Let people know that you're going to get through this no matter what hurdle they throw at you. Stay unbothered.